what's up, guys? Tim with
Jake.
Crazy Jakey. We're here with video number 2 on how to, I almost said on how to film 40K. Video number 2 on how to play 40K. Okay, today we're going to talk to you about list building and the things you're going to need to build a list. Number 1, like we said in our first video, you're going to need a codex. Right here is my Imperial Guard Codex, Astra Militarum. So the reason the codex is important is because you have all of your points associated with your list if you're using points for match play. More importantly, you have all your data slates for every model in your army in the book. Now you could build multiple armies based on the keywords in your army, in which case you'll need other indexes or codexes to put to get your information for those units that you're putting in your army.
Right.
So that's number 1. You're going to need your codex or any other codex associated with what models you want to put in your army. And that's regardless if you're playing open, narrative, or match play, because you need to know what your stuff does on the table. Okay? Number 2, and maybe should have been number 1, you need a rule book. Okay? Because the rule book contains not only the core rules of how to play the game, obviously, but also it also contains these handy-dandy detachments here. Okay, so all the units in your army will fit into these, I believe there's 14 of them, different detachment types. Okay, and these are on page 243 and 244 and 245 in the big rulebook. Okay, so you have your patrol detachment, your battalion detachment, brigade detachment. Okay, and all of the things you're going to need to know on how to fill these out are indicated by the colors and whatnot. Your restrictions are also listed, and then the bonuses you get for filling out that detachment. Okay, you can also just play Unbound, where you literally take whatever you want and put it on the table. There's no benefit to doing that. That means your army is not battle forged.
Yep.
What do you get for being battle forged, Jake?
Command points.
Command points. What do you do with those?
You command.
You use them on stratagems, bruh.
Yeah, so each army has a stratagem.
Well, there are generic stratagems, and then there are army-specific. And I think everybody now, after the Demon Codex comes out next month, everybody will have access to different stratagems, including those in Chapter Approved.
Yep.
Which we will talk about in a moment. So stratagems we'll get to in another video. We're not going to go in depth on those right now. We're just talking about what you need.
Keep them in mind, though, because they are important.
They are important. So this isn't a tutorial on how to build a good list, per se. This is just on a list or the idea of building a list to play a game of 40K with. Okay, so we have the codex and the rulebook, and there's also Chapter Approved. Okay, so this is a new supplement that was out this month of December 2017. This has additional points costs.
Updated points costs
that supersede that of the ones in the codex and index books for every army, just about. And there are also different detachments and whatnot you can use in these books. These are typically for different types of games. So this page right here is for Planet Strike. Okay, that's not a typical game. More of a narrative-based game usually, but you can play match play with them. What am I forgetting, Jake?
Well, the first thing you need to do is have an opponent, and then decide between you and your opponent how many points or power level you're going to play.
Right. So when you approach somebody about a game, like Jake and I would say, let's play 2,000 points or let's play 1,500 points. Okay, and then we would set any other restrictions that we wanted. Are we playing match play? Are we playing open play, narrative play?
Yeah, whatever we're doing. But then after we get those stipulations down, take the codex or Chapter Approved, whatever you have to have your updated list, and that's where you make your list from to add up to that many points or power level.
Right. And I should have mentioned power level. Thank you for bringing that up, Jake. Let me find a unit entry real quick. Okay, so here we go. Open to the Sentinel page. So up in this corner here, it says power. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but the power level is indicated on the data slate, where the points cost for the unit and all its war gear is in the back of the book. The power level changes much less frequently than the points cost, because it's just an aggregate of what it can do. But you can play, say, 50 power level games also And all that, again, is included in your codex or your index.
Yeah, I think the first few games I played in 8th edition were all on power level because it was just simple and easy. And
it's easy. You put stuff on the table. You have your model. Let's say you have a Leman Russ. You can give any gun, any upgrades, and it's 11 power level.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be the average of like the best it could be and the worst it could be.
Right. It's just a super easy way to get playing. But you will want to build a list around your either your points limit or your power level. Mm-hmm. Like we said, you could play Unbound, which is where you're ignoring the detachments and you're just throwing stuff out there, but you don't get any bonuses for that. Bonuses in the way of command points.
Yeah, you want to try to practice fulfilling detachments because it'll help you in the list building later when you actually start caring about the stratagems and whatnot. But
they're pretty open. They're pretty much whatever you want to be able to bring, you're going to be able to bring them, or whatever models. You know what I'm saying? But there are innumerable ways to build your army. The detachments are just a guideline to do that, and most, if not all, tournaments that I'm familiar with require you to fill out detachments. You usually get up to 3 detachments. There's no hard rule for that. If you want to play a pickup game, you could have 15 detachments if you want.
Yeah.
But having all your units organized into different detachments makes your army battle forged. Will get you other bonuses as well.
Yeah. What did we forget?
Right. Well, let's talk about keywords here. So every army has a keyword, or a series of keywords. So every unit in your book, every unit in your codex will have keywords at the bottom. Okay, so here, this company commander unit. Keywords that, that's bad. Probably can't see it. But it has keywords, so right here.
You have a codex already? Look at the bottom.
That's right. If you're the Astra Militarum Codex, the company commander entry is faction keywords, Imperium, Astra Militarum, and Regiment. Okay, so a regiment is in brackets, and it's something that I can change. This book has 6 regiments in it. Space Marines would say chapter, Tau says sept.
Legion for chaos.
Chaos Space Marine says Legion. And there are different rules associated with those models in your codex. We'll talk about that probably a little bit more when we get into a little more depth about armies and whatnot in another video.
Yeah.
Also, character, infantry, officer, and company commander are the other keywords. So your army has to have, in order to be battle forged, has to share at least one keyword. So I couldn't put a Tau unit in my Imperium army because they don't share any keywords.
Yeah.
But I can put Space Marines and Astra Militarum in the same army, and for the time being, in the same detachment also. There's no limitation to doing that. Although you do lose certain abilities out of, like my regiments. I would lose all regiments. All the Space Marines would lose their chapter tactics.
Right.
So there are negatives to doing it, but you can do it, and it's legal. Also, we need to talk about the units and the models that you can bring. So if I'm bringing an infantry squad, for instance, out of the Astra Militarum book, I need 10 models, or 9 models plus a sergeant model. Okay, if I only had 8 models, let's say, I could technically bring it as an under-strength unit. I would have to pay the full points cost, so I'd have to pay all 40 points before any upgrades. And I would have to take that per tournament standards. I would have to bring that in an auxiliary detachment, which is in the big rulebook. Okay, there's not a lot of benefit to doing that. Some people have tried to do it. I don't see the benefit.
I don't see the benefit either. No, I mean, you're just. Why not just bring go get the other models?
Yeah, just find a place. But you can do it. You can bring an understrength unit, meaning if my unit size is 10 and I only have 8, or if it's 3 and I only have 2, something along those lines. But you do have to pay points for them. So we talked about keywords. We talked about detachments. The most important thing to remember when building a list is filling out those detachments. So if you're...
One thing to go back to points real quick, sorry.
Okay.
One thing to keep in mind is when you're building a list, sometimes the war gear isn't included in the points.
Right, usually for everything that's not a named character.
Yeah, so you once you add up the character or the model's points cost, then you're going to take a look at what weapons can they bring, choose their weapons, and then add that point cost.
Right.
I know for a while I didn't do that because I thought the model just came with whatever gun I chose.
And if you're playing power level, that stuff's included.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't matter. If
Right.
you're playing power level, it doesn't matter. But for point costs, games, like if me and Tim are playing, we decided to play 2,000 points. For each model that wasn't a named character, they had a weapon, I'd have to add that into my point cost.
You got to make sure that your total points cost is all included. For me, when I first started playing 8th edition, handwriting list was a lot easier, so I would pick a detachment. Usually I picked the brigade because guard was pretty cheap at the time. And what I would do is, but I would write like HQ, I would write troops all the way down, and I knew how many I had to fill out the brigade because I had the rule book. And basically I would go through and I would say, okay, a company commander with no upgrades is 30 points. Okay, and I would go down and I would add up the total of my HQ slot, which usually was like 130 points. And then my troop slot was like 240. But I went through and I added all the war gear up right in the entry.
Right.
And then that just was an easy way for me to do it. So I would have it handwritten on a piece of paper like this, and I could easily reference that, check back on my upgrades and all that.
That's what I did too. I always wrote them down and added them up.
By hand, just typical
hand.
Old, standard arithmetic. It worked well for me. I still kind of prefer to do them by hand, but I do use another tool, which we'll talk about right now. Video's not sponsored by BattleScribe, but it should be. Can you hand me that there cellular device? I just got to hold it up. All right.
Oh, my bad. I thought we were putting up the map.
Just show them that it's on your phone.
Okay, yeah. BattleScribe is an app on your phone.
It is a free app. Okay, it is not sanctioned by GW necessarily, but all of the points costs are in this app. It's a free to download. You can pay a subscription fee for it also to get some more features and benefits, but the community puts the points cost out. So all the points that are in here are typically pretty spot on in BattleScribe. It also includes some special rules for your army, but please, under no means, accept BattleScribe as the final say on what your army can do.
No, in fact, just recently I played a game where BattleScribe had a rule wrong of my army.
Just one word, right?
It was like just a couple words, yeah, where it said that I get a bonus to wound rolls when it was only during a certain phase. Or BattleScribe didn't give me that.
Right. So it's always important. It's always important to have your physical codex and rule book handy, and now chapter approved with some additional rules and whatnot. Also, that helps. Just that way, for sure. Hey, this is what it says. FAQs are nice to have it nearby when you're playing games, also. But
not to mention, it's easier building a list with a book.
Absolutely.
If you know what your models do, then BattleScribe is a good tool. But if you're unsure what a model can do, the book is the best way to.
Right. Nothing replaces the book when it comes to looking stuff up or a quick reference. All right. So we covered keywords, covered detachments, points, caps. So in 2,000 points is the standard right now, but you can play any point level or power level that you want. If you want to play,
it all depends on you and your.
If you want to play 1,000 points, 500 points, feel free. It's your game, it's your enjoyment. I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them down below. If there's something we could be more clear on, let us know. This is part of an ongoing how to play Warhammer 40K 8th edition video set. I wouldn't necessarily call them tutorials. It's more of kind of a reference point. We do assume that you have a baseline knowledge. So when I talk about later on what ballistic skill is, and we'll talk about that stuff too, but you got to do a little research about what you're getting into.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is for beginners, but it's not for people that have no idea what Games Workshop or what a Space Marine is. So just let us know. We want to have some feedback. Let us know what videos you want to see on the channel. We're going to have some more battle reports forthcoming, so if you're interested in playing any of those, get a hold of us here at the store. We're excited to have you. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.